I can do it from this side.
Okay, we are Parak Chav, Nefesh Hachaim, which we began, but I'd like to begin it again with a new element that we need to have in order to understand this. So let's just read the words again. The first paragraph of Parak Chav: "Obir prates seder tikunam v'yiskashrusam ayidei Teshuva." Let's understand or observe or explain the details of the tikkun and the hiskashrus which comes through Teshuva. And this, by the way, this parak is the parak where the Nefesh Hachaim explains Teshuva, finally. And it works as follows: Shekasher pogam ha'adam b'chinas nafshay. When a person, now that we know these words and we're sophisticated, let's understand it on a sophisticated level. A person is pogam, a blemish, the nefesh. Now remember the words, because we have three parts that we're discussing here. There are many, many parts, but there's three parts that we're discussing here. There's the nefesh, ruach, and neshama. So the nefesh is our bodies, right? Including our minds and our psychology and our personalities and all that Gashmi stuff goes into the world of nefesh. If a person is pogam in the nefesh, means a person does a chet, b'chinas nafshay. So what happens is you've created a disconnect in the entire alignment of nefesh, ruach, and neshama. It's important to go over this many, many times to understand what's going on. It's an existential point. Like, how do we live? What does it mean that we're living? What does it mean that when we die? And the way it works, what differentiates us from rabbits, is that they have a nefesh, we have a nefesh. But the pshat is our nefesh was created through the vayipach ba'apav nishmas chaim. Our nefesh was created to be connected, sort of at the bottom, if you want to understand it, of a ruach, and the ruach is connected to neshama to the world of Atzilus, to Kadosh Baruch Hu. So the whole thing is, it's hard to visualize this, and hard to even understand what it means, but I'm going to try to bring it down to earth. The whole point is that you can be a nefesh walking around, but you're really like from The Walking Dead, because you're not hooked up. It's a zombie-like type of thing. Like, you're not really hooked up to the ruach. You can live, and we explained how you can live, just like animals live. You can live. Nefesh habahamas, you can live. You can be alive. You can live to 180, maybe. But you can't. But you're not. The point is that we're not fulfilling what we were created for, because the whole idea is that this nefesh is a keli which gets filled by the ruach. And the ruach gets its energy from the neshama. So our neshama, if we want to understand it, is there a lekai neshama shenasat tobi? This neshama is flowing through the tube into us. And it starts off to Hayrihi, Ata Barasa, Lashon Abriya, Ata Yitzarta, Lashon Yitzira, Ata Nefach tobi, and then finally gets into the B, into the nefesh. To Nefach tobi. So what's important to understand is what we're dealing with all the time is nefesh. A person, goes through. This is so important in the shita of the Nefesh Hachaim here. A person goes through a whole derech of self-improvement. Let's say, whatever derech you want to take. You want to go into a 12-step program. You want to join EST. Whatever you want to do to become self-improvement. Learn Musar, also good. So you're dealing with Taras HaNefesh. But there's a different thing here besides for all that, and that's all very important, self-improvement and self-help. There's another point here where that nefesh hooks up to the ruach. Every time I do a chet, I've moved the nefesh away from the ruach that much, and I'm getting that much less of the vayipach ba'ap of nishmas chaim. I don't know, it's hard for us, simple people, to look at a person and say, Are you being energized by your neshama and by your ruach, or are you being energized by some kind of klipos atzmeis, by the nefesh habahamis? So it's very difficult to see, but you can see it if you study it. You can see sometimes people just they're so off, decisions are so bad. Sometimes it's better just ask somebody else, because somebody else sees something, sees a whole big picture. But is it hooked up to the ruach and to the neshama? So he says as follows: Avim garam chas v'shalom, even if you've done such terrible things that you cause shenifsiku v'nichrasu kol hatesha sfiroisel. There are 10 connectors which connect the nefesh to the ruach. Let's say you've knocked out 9. You're really bad. Michachma ulamata, meiskashrus anal, and you're not connected. You're slightly connected. You're hardly getting any reception at all. 1 dot. But tered ployim leimke mitzulais haklipos chas, and every time one disconnects themselves from this process of the neshama ruach nefesh, so what comes in nature literally abhors a vacuum. So what comes to take its place to give you the life is koach hatumah. Az al yedei vidui dvarim. So now by saying vidui, we explained this at length last time. The dafka through vidui, because vidui is dibur, and vidui is the connecting place between the nefesh and the ruach. The vidui dibur is the highest part of the nefesh. We are the most intelligent of created species. We could talk. It's indicated by the fact that we could talk. Talking intelligently is another thing, but we're an intelligent species that we can talk. So we're up on the top of nefesh right there, and connecting to ruach, the connecting place, the valve, is dibur. So therefore, if I'm masakin my dibur, ayidei vidui dvarim be'emes mi'umka deliba, coming from omek halev, ba'akim asvasav, and I'm actually articulating that to a lower world of akim asvasav, b'chinas nefesh deruach, ma'oyer b'kol dvarim shalai. Now watch this. Ma'oyer b'kol dvarim shalai ad la'ela ula'ela. The vidui goes up and up. Now, why is it going up and up? It should be coming down and down. You with me on this? The idea is, here's the nefesh. The bulb is not screwed into the socket. So you screw it back into the socket. The idea here is not anything's going up. The idea is that the electricity now is able to come into this light bulb, and there's a resistance which causes light. So you screw in the bulb tighter, it's coming down. But here he's telling us something else. Ma'oyer b'kol dvarim shalai. When a person says vidui, ma'oyer b'kol dvarim shalai ad la'ela ula'ela. Goes up and up. V'goyrem, and what happens when you do tshuva? She's atzel tosefes kedusha mimenu yisbarach shmai. Now you have a whole new line of energy coming through. Ad shirish haneshama tchila. It goes all the way up to the shirish haneshama. Umisham l'nishmasai. Now again, let's explain the terms. Shirish haneshama. Look, it's difficult to know what these things mean, but it's easy enough to understand the language. That in Shamayim, if we want to understand that there's the neshama haklali. In the world of Bria, there's the neshama haklali. And the neshama haklali is everybody's neshama together, Klal Yisrael's neshama together. And then it breaks up into different neshamas. And breaks up into different neshamas, so we have our personal neshama. According to the Kabbalah, it breaks up into halves. Only half neshamas come, and it's only when you find your zivug that half and that half become one neshama. But you start off with a neshama klali, and then gets broken up into all these places. So now when I'm doing tshuva, what's happening is it's going la'ela ula'ela ad his lashon. La'ela gershi satzel de'sefes kedusha menu yisbarach shmai ad shirish haneshama tchila. To the beginning, shirish haneshama. Where did we all come from? Umisham l'nishmasei. From then, the ruach gets personalized to my personal neshama and my personal ruach, so it starts going down a private pipe. V'haruach mavhik oiroi hagadol. The ruach sends this tremendous illuminating light. Hanishba alav gamal b'chinas hanefesh, which comes back into my nefesh. Mitzadei iskashru shenishar adayim b'neim, because it's all connected now. Realignment. So this is a chiropractic adjustment of the soul. We're back aligned to where the way life is supposed to be. And what happens then? L'chalois, u'lahasem, hakoiches hara. The kedusha pushes away the kochos hara which I'm existing on. Junk food, right? Like it's just I'm living like a parasite. I'm living off junk food. Umadregos hatuma, getting rid of all the tuma, lohaitzi mi masker asir kol b'chinoisel, and releases me from their hold. L'achzer l'kashan k'rishaynam b'chinas haruach, and I'm back connected to the ruach. Let me. This is a fantastic paragraph. It should mamish be printed out and framed. It's a fantastic paragraph when you look at it. But let me just contrast it. There are those that say that it might be true, might not be true. I don't know what to say. That the Nefesh Hachaim here is arguing with the Rabbeinu Yoina in Shaar Teshuva. I'm not sure that it's a machlokes, but let's understand what they're saying. It's definitely something different. If you open up the Shaar Teshuva, Rabbeinu Yoina, it's minhag Yisrael to do so in Chodesh Elul. So the Teshuva process is about what we're doing with our nefesh. The Teshuva process is about, you talk Lashon Hara, this is how you stop talking Lashon Hara. You do Bittul Torah, this is how you stop doing Bittul Torah. You made a Chil Hashem, says the Shaar Teshuva, so work now on making a Kiddush Hashem. It's all endless, nobody could argue with that. Those are all things in the nefesh, meaning I'm improving my nefesh. According to the Chachmei Kabbalah, as important as that is, that's not tshuva, that's a hachana for tshuva. That's not tshuva. Tshuva is when I take this parcel called the nefesh that I'm busy self-improving, and I hook it up to the place of ruach. And not only that, it's not just that the tshuva is hooking up instead of improving this. Not only that, tshuva goes up, tshuva comes down. Meaning that it starts with vidui. Look at the circuit. It starts with vidui. It goes all the way up la'ela, up to the world of bria. What does the Gemara say? Yoma daf pevav amud aleph gedola tshuva shemagas ad kisei hakovim. Lashon the Gemara. Gedola tshuva. Rameir said this. Shemagas ad kisei hakovim. He knew that the tshuva goes up to the kisei hakovim. What's ready about tshuva to go to the kisei hakovim? I want tshuva to go into my hands, into my legs, into my heart, into my mouth. That's where I want tshuva. We're doing the kisei hakovim. What happens when I do tshuva, according to Reb Meir, and according to the way the Mekubalim understood it, is that when I do tshuva, I have changed the whole energy source, all the way up in the world of bria, and now, and this can happen instantaneously, now that new energy source is again the neshama coming through the ruach, and I'm brand new. So it's not so much about fixing this, as Rabbeinu Yonah says. How do I fix this? How do I put a patch on my tire? I'm a whole different person. Leiv Tahar bar Rali Elikim Veruach Nachain Chadesh B'Kirbi. A whole new system. I'm a whole new person. What's the lesson of the Rambam? Bal Tshuva Omer Ani Ish Acher Ve'eni Oisoya Ish Shechata. I can become a completely different person. So it's completely either it's a machlokes, or they're addressing two parts of tshuva. Clearly, what's the point in getting a whole new ruach if it's just gonna, you're putting all new air into the balloon and the balloon has a hole in it? Obviously, there's no point in that. But the nekuda is the tshuva. The nekuda of tshuva is, says the Nefesh Hachaim, that I'm working like this. I'm going up. And he says over and over again that if you want to be masakin anything, he says throughout the sefer, if you ever want to be masakin anything, nefesh, ruach, neshama, you always have to do the work on the part that's on top of it. So our derech of being masakin the nefesh is by being masakin the ruach. That's why I say vitu. It's all about going to the madrega up higher and being masakin that. But nachamer, that it goes up and up and up, and then I come down. Ruach Nachai Chadesh B'Kirbi. We have to know what this looks like. We have to know what the ramifications are. What does it look like? It's hard to know what it looks like. But you always wonder like this. I'll give you just a very practical part of this. Let's say you want to bring somebody to do Teshuva. So you want to be Makar, you want to do Kiruv, right? You want to bring somebody to Teshuva. I worked in this area for a good part of my life and was even successful, but I had no idea what I was doing. Because what are you doing? Let's say you're saying to people, look, keep Shabbos. This is the importance of keeping Shabbos. Shabbos is a day where you'll be together with your family. Shabbos is a day where you'll restore your neshama. Or Shabbos is a day, I don't know about Shabbos. Intellectually. Shabbos is a day where you're commemorating the Brias Olam, Hashem made the world. And I'll prove it to you. I'll show you codes. I'll show you Reb Sadia Goyen's arguments. I'll show you that God created the world. There's a different mahalach here. I'm trying to know how to do it. But maybe it's like more a Hasidic mahalach you find here in the Misnagid of all generations. Nefesh Hachaim. And that is that no, that's not going to work. What's going to work is to access a person's ruach and try to get a person through his decision to re-access their neshama and to get a whole new ruach chadash, ruach nachai chadash b'kirbi. What is the job altogether? And you see a number of things that are so clear. Number one, like the most famous Gemara about Teshuva, there's a few famous things that everybody knows about Teshuva, but one of the most famous things that everyone knows about Teshuva is, everyone knows this sugya, is V'bakim Shemali Teshuva Imdim Tzadikim Gemorim Einam Yisraelim Lamich. Why? It's not Higioni. Never didn't Haver, like I should be a lower Madrega. Oimdim. I'm made in a lower Madrega than this guy who's B'chal Shabbos and the Oivet of Nizar. How could it be? So the answer is, of course, it's not. On some level, some level it's out because it's out. But on another level, understand that this Baal Teshuva, if he does it right, has a whole new energy. That the tzaddik is still working on the old energy because he never was pogim in it. The Baal Teshuva is getting a whole new piece, a whole new ruach nachai chadesh b'kirbi.
What's the reference to the makom?
Let's try to explain. We see. Let's get to the makom in a few minutes, but you see this lamaisa. You see that Baal Teshuva. I'm not talking about necessarily like the Baal Teshuva, but the person who's a Baal Teshuva. You can be from it, be a Baal Teshuva. It's harder, but you can do it. Person Baal Teshuva has kochos that a tzaddik doesn't have. I see Baal Teshuva, say, I'm going to stand all Yom Kippur. I don't know. I don't have the koch to stand all Yom Kippur, but there's something new. There's a certain Kiddush. It's almost like the energy of a child. I'm older than most of the people in the room here, but when you watch a child running around, never getting tired, doing this and doing that, jumping, it was like, I don't have that kind of energy. There's a child's energy. Like the body is new and it's fresh and it's like a new thing. They have a lot of koach. It's a new thing. Like an old car. There's something new, and when you start to see the contrast. What's going on with the new? It's new. It's fresh. A person comes to something which is fresh. You have a whole different kind of about Teshuva. I think I must have told the story worth telling again. But I remember years ago when I was in Kollel, so I lived in Romeva, only from people in Romeva at that time. Now it's completely from, thanks to me. But at that time, nobody was from. Nobody. I mean, hardly one or two older than here and there, all Sephardi people. But there was no young people that were from. Romeva was a like projects. for Moroccan Jewry that came, and they gave them cheap housing in Romania, and it happened to be right next door to Luzmadazer. I couldn't afford to live in Luzmadazer. I lived in Romania. I was the only one that crossed the line at that time. But anyways, I was able to bring closer to Yiddishkeit through learning and smiling. I was able to bring two of my neighbors. One was an electrician, one was a policeman, Balash. Two young guys. Right age 22, 23, 24, like that, just finished the Tzava. I started to learn with them. So one of them came point, he wanted to buy tefillin. Can I tell you a story? He wanted to buy tefillin. He didn't have tefillin. So I said, okay. So I said, what, how much you want to spend on the tefillin? So he said, as much as possible. Just buy me the best tefillin that there are in the world, and I'll buy them. So I said, well, you have a lot of money. So he said, I'll sell my car. You know what it was for an Israeli to, at that time, we're talking about, 40 years ago, to sell his car, it was like a big deal. They spent all Saturday washing that car, to sell that car, to sell his car. So I said to him, listen, everybody knows that if you want to be Makabel Torah, you have to do it step by step. Don't miss rungs on the ladder, and if you go too fast, you're going to fall. And that speech, which I had heard so many times, and I told this person, just buy a pair of tefillin that are kosher. You don't have to. No, I want to buy the best tefillin out there. Tell me who's the best one. What do they call it? So anyways, we're arguing about this. So he said to me, let's go to your Rav Sheinberg, who's down the street in Pardes. Let's go ask him what kind of tefillin I should be. We walked into him. He's wearing tefillin all day. And not one talus, but many talus. And I explained the machlokes, what to do. So the Shiva said, "Vadai, you should sell your car and spend as much money as you can on tefillin." Vadai, completely took his side, not my side. Vadai, what's the shiloh? So maybe you should even borrow money. How much is your car worth already? That's how the conversation went. And I said to him, thinking, like I always, maybe he doesn't understand like Bali Tshuva, I said, maybe this is not smart, maybe this is not the right derech. And he said to me right in front of him, he said, person who's chayzer b'tshuva, has hirhurei tshuva, has capabilities that you know nothing about. The Shemayim is open to be able to do things which you have no ability to do. You have no understanding of. And you have to chop those moments of Isarusa de Le'ela, and you have to let the person do as much as they can, because this is a new ruach which is coming through, which you don't understand. You're working with your ruach, you're not working with his ruach. So mamish dvarim kicks out. This is like the nekudah of nekudas, the Yesod that stood with me forever. This is not a Yetzirah. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing of ruach, a new ruach. Ruach nachain chadesh b'kirbi. We're watching it with our own eyes. So this is the pshat. This is the real pshat. In b'makom she'balei tshuva ein tzadikim gemer yachol lamish. That you're standing in a makom which is all the way up by ruach, not all the way in the bottom of nefesh. You're not working with the guf like a tzaddik is working, trying to do this and trying to do that. That's wonderful. That's where this guy's going to end up too. But right now, there's a chidush, and the chidush of ruach, where he's standing right now, the makom. You see the makom? The makom that he's standing, nobody's able to stand there. It's a whole different havaya. It's a whole different.
Liad Kisei HaKavod?
Kisei HaKavod. This is coming direct from the Kisei HaKavod. It's new. It's a new bloodstream.
But Vidui didn't take him there.
Vidui is the beginning.
He did Vidui?
Yeah. I want to change. I've been doing wrong. So, but here's the tshuva though. Here's the machlokes, if you will, Rabbi Yoda and Nefesh Hachaim. Tshuva going this way or tshuva going that way? Emes Gerat, there's two psukim. The pasuk of V'hashivaisa Levavecha. It's going this way. The next pasuk of the Torah is V'shavta ad Hashem Elokecha. So V'shavta ad Hashem Elokecha, V'hashivaisa, it needs some self-improvement. It needs to be a kli which can be mekafel. Nefesh is a keli. What we are, our lives. It's a keli. It's a keli to be hooked up to this marechet of ruach and neshama. It's so. What could be more important? It's life itself. It's not like about chayiv kares or not chayiv kares. It's Rabbi Abakeli that was created to have the schus to be hooked up to a ruach, to be the schus to be hooked up to the neshama. Even non-Jews don't have this. It's strictly a Jewish thing, apparently, because I know that the neshama acclaimed is neshamas that were moiled by Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. So, you're right. That's why it's mashma from Chazal. So I came across this other story. I'm assuming they're important. You said just years ago I wrote a sefer on Rabbi Yosef Engel. I don't know if anybody saw it. But, you have it?
It's in the back, huh?
It's in the back. Most of my books. It's in the back. I was learning through had a minhag to minhag instead of learning this and learning that. So I would take a machaber, an author, and just learn through everything that they said. Try to understand the shita. Like over the years, went through all of Reb Tzadok Keseder. So at that time, I was learning through all of Reb Yosef Engel Keseder. Reb Yosef Engel is a guy in Hadar, but it's like all over the place. There's no Seder. It's not on Chumash. It's not on Shulchan Aruch. It's not on Shas. It's just like whatever he wants to talk about. That's what it's about. Main part of it is in Seder Aleph Beis, like an encyclopedia. But you see things that are so fantastic. There's no way to. So I wrote a sefer where I took everything of Rabbi Yosef Engel, and I was masadered according to the Parshias. Really wrote it for myself. And Scheinberg told me to publish it. It was good. And I explaining footnotes on the bottom. So
What's the name of the sefer?
Rabbi Yosef Engel Al Hater. Hold on. It's a nice little book. Probably has in it about 600 things from Rabbi Yosef Engel. Remember when I printed it, I gave a copy to Rav Hershel Schechter, Shiva Wayu, and he likes Rabbi Yosef Engel. So I figured you'd enjoy it. So he looked and came back to me an hour later. He says, "You missed out 3 pieces." So here I here I thought I knew Rabbi Yosef Engel. But anyway, so Rabbi Yosef Engel says starts off one of the pieces in the Beis Oitzer by saying, under Aleph, Ein Shuva Ba'akum. It's impossible to do if we're going to do Tshuva. Kinoida, as is well known. Okay, it's well known to who? The Rambam doesn't say it. Doesn't say so in Shas, as far as I knew. And my job was to find a makor for everything. Ein Shuva Ba'akum. And then I thought to myself, how could it be the whole story of Ninveh that we read on Yom Kippur is a story of going doing tshuva? So it's a pshat ein tshuva ba'akum. So I asked a bunch of people, do you know people that know a lot of things? Never heard, never knew. I wrote at that time, still wrote letters to different gedolim, asking them, quoting this, do you know where the makor for this is? So no, I never heard. I went to Scheinberg. I said, he's a Baki of Torah Kula. Where does it say Ein Shuva Ba'akum? He says, it can't be such a thing. The story of Nineveh. That's what he told me. Okay, he says Ein Shuva Ba'akum. So I was Hanukkah 40 some years ago, and I was at the Kollel, and Rabbi Ovadia Yosef was the chief rabbi of Israel, and he came to light Hanukkah candles at the Kollel, and I saw, and as he's coming, Rishon LeZion, so he was with sunglasses, even though it was nighttime, and everybody's standing in line, and greeting him and kissing his hand, and Shalom Aleichem, making his baruch. So he said, okay, I'll also stand in line. So I stood in line by the Kollel, and he was walking towards the Kollel, and I shook his hand, and I said, Eifo Katuv Ein Shuva Ba'akum. And he told me, Rabbi Yosef Engel, Beit Ha'otzer, quoted me exactly what page it was that I was working on. So I decided, Ein Makor. well, good start. At the end, after a lot of research, Reb Tzadok has a whole, and I got to Reb Tzadok has a whole kuntras on it, and which was apparently not known, in Takonos HaShavin and in Teshuva B'Hakum, and it's Al Pi HaZoyar HaKadosh, and at the end, what it means, the Beis Elokim La'amavet explains that what it means, not that a guy can't do tshuva, of course a guy can do tshuva, but the idea of Zdoinos Nasek is Chuyos, that doesn't apply to a guy. What's the pshat in Zidonos Nasek is Chuyos? You do something b'mezid, it becomes a mitzvah, mehechetesim. Becomes a mitzvah, not disappears, it becomes a mitzvah. Why should this be? And the answer is that when a person is doing tshuva, a Jew is doing tshuva, and you're reconnecting to the neshama hakloli. And what's allowing me to do this tshuva, to reconnect? The aveira, ironically, if you don't do aveiras, you can't do tshuva. It's about aveira. But you're doing the tshuva, and that's reconnecting me to the top part, the top of this line. Now I'm getting a ruach chadasha, and everything that got me there is causing a schus. Zadoinos nasek is chuyos, which nobody else can get. So is it a pasha that b'malkim shibalei tshuvaimdim and tzadikim gemur mechalav? What's a person can re-access that cycle and get this whole thing anew, the whole marechet comes down to new. So our hearts are different, our brains are different, everything is different. So right, you with me on this? You understand this? This is such an important yisoid of tshuva, which is a completely different type of tshuva, a completely different definition of tshuva than the Rabbeinu Yonah speaks about. I don't think it's different than the Rambam. We could spend time on understanding the lashon of the Rambam. I don't think it's that different than the Rambam, but I think it is different. And interestingly, this is the Litvisha approach. It's Nefesh Hachaim. It's a Litvisha approach of the Baal Tanya in Igaris HaTshuva, which we should look at the end of Tanya. Is Igaris HaTshuva takes a similar approach. It's a similar approach. It speaks more in terms of Ilamos and Spherois as opposed to Nefesh Ruach Neshama, but it's not right, but it's all the same thing.
So a guy can't do that because
you're not connecting to Neshama Klali. How could he do that if he's not connecting to Neshama Klali? Of course he could do tshuva in terms of so a guy could become a chassid. Chassidei U'B'Saylam. A guy could become a tzaddik. But a guy can't become a Baal Tshuva. A Baal Tshuva means you're connecting to something that you were connected to l'chatchila, and you're reinvigorating and getting a whole new. It sounds like something which is like, how many times do I have to create you? Hashem could say. But this is something that's our schus to do. Kodesh Baruch Hu in His kindness, it's our schus to do. That He goes back to the beginning. I was just thinking probably. I'm saying this as a mashal, not in any way to just as a mashal, but I think one of the most gewaldic emails I ever got was, talked to a lot of couples about their issues. I'm not a therapist. I'm not, but yeah, you talk. Somebody you talk about their problems. She's feeling like this. He's feeling that. They were like, and okay, we talked what we talked, and had an email the next day from the wife. She said, "Thank you, thank you for me." In fact, I have to look forward this morning just to be able to read you part of it, if you'll indulge me, because I think it says. Dear Rav Haber, thank you for your time and patience in meeting us yesterday. You were the first person we thought to turn to. I have to tell you that my husband and I walked out of your office with the same serenity and clarity like the moment we stepped away from our chuppah. We felt renewed hope and comfort in the clear path set out to us to rehabilitate our marriage. May the goodness that will come from the session serve as a schus for you in this world and in the next. much nachas from all your children and from us. I'm reading to you, reading this, like, what do you think about Shalom Bayis, my Shalom Bayis, your Shalom Bayis, everybody's Shalom Bayis? But the concept is get back to basics, get back to the chuppah. Because under the chuppah, it was, you walk away from the chuppah, you could take on the whole world. It's new, it's a brand new energy because, said before, there's two half neshamas that came together under that chuppah. And when there's two half neshamas come together in the chuppah, you're kids, you have all the energy in the world to do everything. And then comes life. Yeah. Somebody back in Buffalo said to me, it was like, she said to me, I don't understand. Like, I lived with this guy together for 4 years. We got along brilliantly. Then we got married, and now we can't get along. Like, how could this be? So I said, it's easy. Now you're married. She does. Obviously, that's the knight here. Like you got married. What you're married? That's life. Like that's life. So now, you're not living in La La Land. Like this is life. So there's responsibilities. There's differences. There's do this for life. The chap is to get back to that original neshama and to work our way down from there. The chap is not to go down and say, I don't like the fact that she never puts the milk in the refrigerator. I don't like the fact that he walks into the house with these kind of shoes. I can't stand the way she talks on the phone and never says goodbye. I can't stand the stuff I hear every day. So forget about all the pichiskas of life. People are people. Everybody gets on my nerves. The idea is that to go back to a place where everything was new. So I was sharing this with the new Rosh Kollel of the Lakewood Kollel in this idea of in Los Angeles, Rabbi Fassman Jr. Fassman all the Shalom Zifter, Rabbi Fassman Jr. So he said, probably this is the pshat in the pasuk of Koyam Ar Hashem Zacharti Lo Chesed Nurayich. That what's the machayiv of tshuva? He said to me with English. I thought it was with Chachma Gedolah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is able, even after the Egel Hazah, he's able to remember how we were when we first started out. That's how he's able to remember that moment. And the moment is a moment to be cherished because that moment is a moment that we can always get back to and then start fresh. That's the chiddush of tshuva. So you can fix over here, Rabbeinu Yoina. It's all good. You gotta fix those things anyway. You can fix it all over here, or you can tush tshuva. The Zohar says, tushuv hay. Put the hay back to the tushuv. Like, realign. Just get right back on track here. And when you're on track, you have Ruach Chadash, and that Ruach Chadash changes us, and we look different, and we think different, and we feel different, and we daven different, and we act different, and we're walking away with that koach. Because the same way, after a chasana, first year, you don't have to wear a kittel on Yom Kippur. You're not allowed to wear a kittel. You don't have to wear a kittel because I just started new. I already had that. Like, why do you wear a kittel? Like, I'm a davar chadash. I'm nucky. You're already a davar chadash. First marriage, second marriage, third marriage, doesn't make a difference. You don't wear a kittel. You don't wear a kittel because I just became a nayer zach. That kittel on Yom Kippur represents. We're wearing kittel. There's something new here. I'm starting fresh, and starting fresh is a whole new person. Comes the Rambam and he says, "Ani ish acher, eini yoso ish shachat." I don't have to even identify with that. I don't have to relate to that. It's a whole new ruach here. That's coming in.
Isn't the preliminary that we should do like the Rabbeinu Yonah before the vidui?
So it seems to be a steer in the Rambam. But I mean, it's logical that you should. But sur meira asetoy. It's logical because otherwise, where's this ruach going to go? But that's not the question. The question is that the Rambam says in a different place that first you should do vidui, and then you should do all that. It's unclear. But whether you do it before or after is not really the point because you see a person who do tshuva. Get this whole new ruach in 1 second. Eliezer ben Durdaya. You can get it in 1 second also. But the problem is it's not going to last. Let me take one more minute. I want to just tell you this Gemara. The Gemara says, we went to this Gemara in Tomer Devorah brings this Gemara. Gemara says that the Ka Hashem Surah Lamim, Hashem created the world with a Yud and a Hey. Yud, he created Olam Haba, Hey, he created Oisius, Hey, he created Olam Hazeh. So the Gemara goes on to say that Olam Hazeh, Doimelach Sadra. Like the hay, think of a hay, visualize a hay. And the hay is like a big open space in the like an Alexandria. This is where we all live. We all live in a big hay. So, and it's very open on the bottom, says the Gemara. And it's very easy to fall out. You can fall out easily. The sides are slippery. You could just fall out of this hay. However, says the Gemara, that there's a little crack on top. Lama ragla shel hay mitla. Why is the regal of the hay hanging like a ches, which is stuck? So this is a little place that you could get in, back in. So you get back in through that little space. Frank the Gemara, why you have to go climbing up all the way to the top of the hay? La'ayil behind the kanofa. Just go back in the same way you came. So the Gemara says, Lemastayim Milson. It's not going to work out for you. Lemastayim Milson. Pashat of Shat in the Gemara, the Tomer Devorah says that if you don't, people that make a mistake, they tend to make the same mistake over and over and over again. It doesn't help to give them a new chance. But you have to change as yourself. What's it going to help to, you see people, they marry the wrong person, they get divorced, and they marry another wrong person. Like a very, very common thing. Why? Because you didn't do the therapy in between to understand why did I make this mistake? That's the Pashat of Shat in the Gemara. So what you have to do is you have to climb all the way to the top and go in through all. Let's get this from a whole new angle. According to Nefesh Hachaim, you can understand it even deeper. That it's not just that I have to change myself. It's the pshat is I'm going up to the gag of the hay, and I'm not going down, and I'm not trying to climb back to where I was. I want to become an ish acher. Let's start from the top and work our way down again. Let me climb all the way up to the top, a whole new derech. That's the Balei Teshuva. And the Balei Teshuva are up on top here. What are you doing? They're still hanging in the middle of the hay. And from there they come down, it's a whole new ruach. And that's Istayim Milsa. With a new ruach, it's possible. Otherwise, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. I am what I am. How many people change? I don't see too much people changing. Change is a hard thing, but new is something that we all look at. Thank you for listening. How's the varmints? How's the varmints?